Alright guys, so you just received your mace or club and you're not really sure where to start. This is going to be a very quick, simple way just to kind of get an understanding of the mace, and I just want you guys to grab it. You can have either hand on top or bottom and just swing it back and forth like this. And you can start off doing it with your wrists and mostly your arms and hands. And as you go, you can kind of start putting your body into it a little bit more, right? Understand that if you move your core and your spine and your hips a little, that you can also drive power to move the mace. And kind of just get an idea that all the weight is on one end. Very awkward, very different than most things, right? You can go ahead and even put the mace behind you, and you can do something very similar. You start off with your wrists, your hands, and your arms moving it. And as you keep going, you kind of start adding your body weight into it, right? And same thing as before, you start realizing that you could move your whole body to move the mace as well, not just your arms, because this is, at the end of the day, going to be a full body movement, and you're going to be using a lot of your upper body, your legs, and rotation to drive the weight behind you to swing the mace around. When I first got my mace, I also did very simple things like this, where when I'm swinging it upwards, I'm kind of driving it with my hips a little bit and just kind of getting an understanding of how to use my whole body to move the mace rather than just my arms. How can I move this thing back and forth without just using my arms? I can use my ground up force to make sure that this thing shoots up into the air. And to me, that's a good framework for when you start, is understanding, like I said before, it's not just doing this with your arms. It's going to be everything, right? Everything in here has to work in tandem in order to get the mace around you and pull it over. One thing you could do as well is, while you're swinging back and forth in whatever position you're in, you can go ahead and change your grip. So if my grip is going to be lower to the base, then it's going to be a little bit more challenging, right? Because all the weight's on one end and it's farther away from my hands. So naturally, that means it's going to be a little bit harder to gain that momentum, right? It's going to be a little bit heavier. But we go ahead and change our grip and move it down and then start swinging a little bit, it's going to be a little bit easier. So that's a good rule of thumb as well, is, maybe you have a weight that's a little bit too heavy for you, or you're just getting started. You can always switch your grip a little bit, move it a little bit farther up closer to the weight, and that's going to make it much easier to swing. And keep in mind, guys, there's really no perfect way to start this. Everybody's body is a little bit different. Everybody has a different starting point and different level of expertise. Just find a very simple way to maneuver and use the mace and practice your rotation a little bit, right? Very simple, easy things just to practice the rotation and understand what it means to rotate with weight moving behind your rotation. Some people, this could be 10 minutes, and others, you could probably use a good week or two of doing this. If you're really stiff, you're very new to rotation, you really kind of just have to understand where you're at and be humble, right? Don't let the ego get in the way of this. If you start ego lifting with these things, I can tell you from personal experience, you're going to get hurt very quick. So just be very truthful with yourself, and if you're not where you want to be in that moment, you're going to get there. So just take your time with it. Don't set yourself back by going too fast, too quick.